we're live!
Hi, welcome to First to Third. My name is Admin. I'm here tonight with Patty and Adrock, and we're going to talk about... Good morning.
Good evening. Good afternoon.
Where are we? I've got a beer. You got a beer? You got
I got a whiskey. Talking about Founders Cup 17 Thunderdome. I think numerically the largest tournament of the year. 40 teams showing up. Only one team leaves, and the teams that do not win get ground up and sprinkled on the field as fertilizer for next year. That's how they keep things so green in Vegas.
That's true.
You're actually going to go to this event, aren't you?
I never miss the event. I love the Founders Cup.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Well, yeah, this weekend on October the 11th, we have the 17th Annual Founders Cup. 40 teams. We're going to have a breakdown of the teams that are going. We'll discuss the WAKA teams that we're familiar with. We'll discuss the teams that are attending the WAKA's Founders Cup that have played in circuit events. So we'll add that flavor into the discussion. We're going to talk about the rankings that were used and the comparison, pros and cons of how they did their rankings, what's a little off. We've got a couple of teams that we think are dark horses based on the rankings that WAKA provided. We're also going to talk about the fact that only 32 teams, only 30, pretty much everyone advances. Pretty much
you got to get almost all of the teams their fourth game.
Yes, pretty much. So hopefully those 8 teams that do not advance are going to look forward to being in Vegas and have a good time. We're also going to talk about the bracket, how we've kind of noticed that if you look at the way the pools are laid out, the bracket looks a little weighted. We'll get to that. We're also going to talk about the fact that last year's champs are not here, which has led WAKA to be, in a good way, very transparent with their rosters. They released the player rosters, who's on each team. It has been a discussion in their forum. We won't get into conspiracy theories, but just the fact that rosters are now public and you can see who's on each team. We're also going to get into the top 5. Do we agree with the top 5 teams that are attending this Founders Cup? And then, yeah, just, we might have a prediction or two. We might not. I don't know. I know Patty really wants to do a prediction, so we'll get into that. And,
I do. Oh, and can we do pool draws today, too? Can we draw for pools, Matt? Please, I beg of you.
We could. No, I'm just kidding. No, it'll be good. So, guys, we've got, good gosh, we've got pools A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S. No, we've got pools A through J. Each pool has 4 teams. Each team will play each other in the pool, and the top team in each pool will advance. And then what's the tiebreaker? Do you guys remember? We'll take 32 teams, but
I believe the tiebreaker breakdown, I'll have to double-check my rules, but I believe it's runs against, although head-to-head might actually come before runs against. I think it's head-to-head, runs against, and then they boil the head of the donkey and see how the bubbles come out. I'm not exactly sure. But, yeah, the main difference between circuit is runs against as opposed to run differential. So there's not necessarily a whole lot of value in running up the score on your weak opponent.
Yeah, we'll look at I'll look at the rules right now. In the event of a tie within a pool, so winner advances. In the event of a tie within the pool, the team that won head-to-head shall advance. If that's inconclusive, the team with the fewest total runs allowed in their pools advances. If that results in a tie, the team with the most total runs, et cetera, et cetera. So, 32 teams, and we'll be good. Adrock, you're going. Patty,
I'm going. I'm wearing my jersey right now. I'm lime green along with everyone else, apparently, this year.
Wait, should I put my jersey on? Yeah, what am I thinking?
I unfortunately do not have it. We're good to go.
All right.
So, let's break this puppy down. Let's walk through. We got 40 teams. The way we're going to approach this tonight, we're going to spend some time. So grab your popcorn.
Settle in.
Get yourself a beer or a beverage, Coke, tea, whatever you want to do.
Fireball.
Oh wait, are we allowed to talk about Fireball? This isn't a circuit event.
This is not a circuit event, but if you enjoy alcohol and enjoy the tasty beverage shot, you're good to go.
Yes.
Good. We'll break down each pool. So we're just going to talk each pool, the teams that are pool. We'll basically pick the team that's going to win the pool. We won't get into the dramatics of who else might advance. We'll just do that, and we'll move on. Sound good, guys?
Sure.
Sounds great.
It's great in theory, but between me and Adrock, we like to talk a lot, so chances are we will derail and talk about more than just who's going to win the pool. Yeah. But that's okay. That's why we've got all night.
Yes.
As a reminder, if you're watching this on YouTube, jump over to Google+. We have the Q&A app working. So you can submit questions to us, and we'll answer it live on the air. So definitely, if you're at home and you're in front of a machine that has Google Plus, go there. That's where the app is. You'll be good to go.
Unless it's a stupid question. We do not answer stupid questions.
We answer all questions. We do not judge. All right, Pool A.
Pool A.
We've got the Situation, the number 1 team out of Virginia Mid-Atlantic. We've got I'd Hit It, a team out of Texas Thunder. We've got Hollywood Hubris out of California Hollywood. And we've also got Corey's Little Giants out of Utah, which we've never actually seen.
That's cute.
Guys, initial thoughts of these teams, obviously tying it to the circuit. We know the Situation. The Situation is a team that has been in WAKA for a long time. They've made it to the finals. They've won this thing before. They're going into this tournament ranked number 1. On the circuit side this year, they are ranked 5th. Excuse me as I get my thought. I'd Hit It, a team out of the Texas team, is a team that is attending the Circuit Cup as a wild card. Hollywood Hubris, I honestly don't know much about it. Patty, I know you can talk to them. And then Corey's Little Giants, the team out of Utah. Again, no ties to the circuit, so it'll be interesting to see your guys' thoughts on that. Patty, what do you think?
Well, I think Situation is a shoo-in for winning this pool. They're a solid squad. You know, LaSalle and the gang, they know what they're doing. They've been here before. They're last year's runner-ups. So the Situation, I think, is well-positioned to win this pool and probably go fairly deep in the tournament. I'd Hit It out of Texas, also a solid squad. However, the one to talk about is Hollywood Hubris. They are one of those sneaky 3 seeds in this pool. Hollywood Hubris has been at Founders Cup before under a different name. The roster makeup is essentially balls deep out of Dogtown, which went to the round of 16 last year in Founders Cup. A number of those players have been on various circuit teams, including several of them have been on the Bombays in the past, and I don't know if any of them are on the Gordon Bombays now, but they're a solid squad, and I think 21 is a little bit low for them. They're a sneaky 3 seed. I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled something out and ended up getting the number 2 spot over I'd Hit It out of that pool. And, of course, Corey's Little Giants, they're out of Utah. I agree, Adrock. It's cute.
All right, yeah. I've actually played I've Hit It before in a circuit tournament. If the roster's similar, which I think it is, I think a number of these people actually made it out of Denver.
There are 2 I'd Hit It teams in the circuit this year.
Well, no, the Texas one from Dallas.
They're both.
Yeah, they're a decent squad. I think Patty nailed it. I think these 2 teams right here, right in the middle, are going to be battling. Corey's Little Giants. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know if they know what that means. But they're going to be in for a long day, I think. But they should be a fun bunch. Know a couple Utah people out there.
Very cool. Yeah, it should be interesting to say the least. We're always thrilled to find new teams that are attending kickball tournaments in general. Corey's coming in at 40, right there. You'd think, hey, we have a new boss on the show. He's
wearing a tie.
But he's wearing a tie.
He's back.
I'm serious, folks.
Live from San Diego, California.
We've got some coastal balance on this damn podcast. Hello,
that's right.
Shane, we are just getting finished up here with Pool A. We've got Sitch, I'd Hit It, Hollywood Hubris, and Corey's. If you got a working internet connection on your iPad, what are your thoughts on Pool A?
Can you guys hear me at all or not?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
You sound great.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Let's take a look at, let's bring up Pool A, for example.
He's pulling out his legal briefs on kickball. This is awesome.
That's right.
Pool A, Corey's Little Giants, Hollywood, I'd Hit It, and the Situation. If you don't got it, we'll move on.
Yeah, no, we got it.
All right.
Hard to see anyone except the Situation going through this. I'd say this would be a 3-0 poll were it not for the presence of at least some tournament vets from I'd Hit It and Hollywood Hubris. We know there are folks in the mix that have played circuit ball, played seriously, so Situation could get caught napping. This tournament is slotted seating, so it's not like Situation won't be the winner coming out of Pool A. But they may be tested against I'd Hit It and Hollywood Hubris. I don't see them being trouble that much. I still see them going 3-0.
Very cool. For those of you who are unaware who Shane is, he was the original author, is the author of the Lost Sage Power Poll, which is one of the most popular threads ever on Kickball 365's forum back in 2006 and 2007. Long time ago.
Only
Yeah.
trouble by the sitters versus Sanders thread.
I'm old, folks. Very, very old.
All right, so we'll break that down. Moving on to Pool B, I think we all agree situation has that locked up and they'll be advancing easily.
All right, good.
Pool B, OSC Kickball. We all know them, circuit team. OSC has been doing fairly well this year. They're ranked 7th in the circuit, but 2 coming into Founders Cup. Multiple Scoregasms out of California. They're ranked 19th. Multiple Scoregasms is one of those teams that we did not find any data for 2014 at the circuit. I could be wrong. Then you've got the Tyrannical Badgers out of Austin, Texas. The Badgers, again, a team I couldn't find any connection to. Maybe you guys have some dirt on these guys. And then hashtag SFace, which I thought was a horrific name. But some of those teams are from Dogtown Super Friends and Thunder Buddies. What do you guys think? We'll start with Adrock on Pool B.
Well, I think OSC is the class of the bunch here by far. Most of the people on this team have won how many?
Several.
Between 2 and 5 Founders Cups. So these guys know what they're doing right out of the hotbed DC. Multiple Scoregasms. You know, I've seen that name about probably 6 times in my life for a kickball team, so I don't know who's on this one. Tyrannical Teabaggers play in the home league for my team. Don't know much about them except they weren't good enough to beat us, so I don't think they're good enough to beat many of these other teams in the pool. Hashtag SFace. Seems like the hashtag name's the thing to do here, but Twitter actually came out a long time ago, guys. Got to get with the times. But I like their team color, and that's about all I like about this team in terms of possibly winning a game.
Patty, what do you think?
Yeah, foregone conclusion that OSC is going to win this one, this pool. The only reason they're in the number 2 slot this year is because I think due to the fact that they got knocked out early last year on Founders Cup and did not get as far as everyone was anticipating. That being said, I don't see them having any difficulty winning Pool B. Multiple Scoregasms out of Santa Barbara. I've played against them. It was 2 years ago on Wake and Bake. They made it to the round of 16 a couple of years ago. I'd have to double check to see how they did last year. They're not much of a presence on the circuit, but a perennial Founders Cup attendee. The Tyrannical Baggers out of Texas historically have been the Tyrannical Teabaggers, but apparently they lost the T, which I don't know why.
Switch to coffee.
Too much. Yes, exactly. Switch to coffee. That's good. Oh my God, Adrock, did you make a funny?
I made a joke.
Oh, I'm heading you through this week. You made a funny. He's so cute. Okay, 4th team in the pool, hashtag SFace. I agree. The hashtag is horrible. It needs to go away. And I don't even know what an SFace is. Is that the face?
I'll Google it.
Yeah, I'll Google it later. I'll Urban Dictionary it later. Looking over the roster of hashtag SFace, these people could be inebriated before the first game. This almost is a squad that is better served in the fun games because a number of people on the squad, great people, wonderful partiers, little sketchy on the kickball playing side as far as competitive kickball goes. So they will have a good day. They're going to go 3 and out and probably have a load of runs scored against them, but they won't care because by about 10:30, 11 o'clock, they're all going to be thoroughly schnockered.
All right, Shano.
This is going to be an interesting fight. Not at the top. We know that OSC is going to go 3-0 in this poll, but it'll be a challenge to see, or it'll be interesting to see who is the 2nd seed out of here. All of these folks have enough talent to go 2-1, but this could also be one of those pools where you have that pesky 1-1-1 pop up. Don't be surprised by that. The Scoregasms have been around Founders Cup, as Patty mentioned. They seem like the initial favorites to move here, but Baggers and SFace do have elements of folks that play against competitive teams. So Scoregasms could drop a game while they're not looking. As far as the Baggers know, I believe they're responsible for one of the
more epic trash-talking kickball videos in history, revolving around the "Come on, man" meme started by Ed Lover, or "Come on, son." Actually, it was. I take that back. But other than that, yeah, it should be. The chalk should hold in this bowl. It should be OSC and Scoregasms. But the Baggers and Assface could be up to something. Could catch the Scoregasms napping. We could end up with a weird 1-1-1 pool if we're not careful.
All right, let me ask a question to everyone here. So, Pool A, we had the situation, and they took the team from the Virginia Mid-Atlantic tournament. In Pool B, we have OSC taking their roster from their normal DC Atlantic division. OSC won the Virginia Regional, right? I wasn't there. Yeah. So, what's the logic or what's the reasoning behind putting Sitch 1 and OSC 2 based on just that fact alone? Is it because of the body of work that Sitch has throughout the past and not how they measured last year, or what do you think their thinking was?
I believe it's also taking into account Founders Cup last year, where Situation got to the finals, and OSC. I know it was early. I don't know if it was the round of 16 or the round of 32, but they did get knocked ludicrously early for OSC because they ran into the flying meatball spaghetti machine attack.
I agree with you, and I think later in the show when we get to some of these other pools, we're going to go, why in the world are they ranked this low when they're, I think you already mentioned, like one of the teams that changed their names, Walker might not have tracked, and they're so high, or they're so low when they should be high because they made the Sweet 16.
Well, you're also, trying to talk philosophy in a sports prognostication show. There are still some questions about how WAKA does rankings, and so because of that, we'll probably find some flaws. But that's also the nature of kickball in general. Is nobody's ever happy, and it doesn't matter what you put down, even if it's perfect. People are going to say, "Oh no, that's wrong." And we're talking about this, and we haven't even gotten past the second pool yet. And we've got
all right, so Pool C, I'll jump into it, and we'll start with Shayna. Pool C, we've got Sophie King Good coming at number 3 out of California Studio. We've got Smooth Criminals, the 18th seed, also has some teams from the North Shore Mathletes, at least on the women's side, so they have some circuit experience. We didn't go through the entire roster. Howie's Heavers coming in at number 23, which you point out is half of the HH Dukes that attended the Kickball for the Kids circuit event this year when they won. And then number 38 is Truffle Shuffle, a team out of Denver who has players from Riot, JKI, Mile High Club, and El Guapo coming in at 38. So, Shane, we'll start with you. What do you think about Pool C?
I still think you have the same scenario where Sophie should 3-0 this pool, but there is a lot of traffic at 18, 23, and 38. This is already a candidate for the group of death. It will be interesting to see what second seed comes out of here. Howie's Heavers deceptively good. The fact they're a Core 1 circuit event, very, very interesting. Truffle Shuffle, Smooth Criminals, they have the parts to 2-1 and to potentially get another team in under tie breaks if we end up with kind of 1-1-1. This is a tough one. Not because I don't think Sofa will go 3-0. I still expect them to go 3-0. They're totally built for this tournament. They plan well. They game plan well. They're not going to have any problems, and defensively they're just going to shut folks down. But it is a toss-up between these other 3 seeds. I'm not quite sure. My money is on the Heavers, but any 3 of those teams could be the second seed out here. This could be a 1-1-1 pool too.
Patty?
Yeah, this is a tricky pool. I wouldn't go quite so far as to call it the pool of death yet, but there is another one of those tricky 3 seeds in there. Howie's Heavers, I think, is coming into this tournament underranked, and it is a bit surprising. Even amongst WAKA history, 23 is very low for Howie's Heavers. Last year, they got to the round of 16, if I'm not mistaken. So to come into this tournament ranked 23 under other people that didn't even make it out of pool play last year is a bit confusing. They are a very tricky 3 seed. Smooth Criminals out of Huntington Beach. I believe that is the team Sa Dow is playing on. Sa, of course, being one of SoCal's favorite people in WAKA because he does such a great job running everything down here. Truffle Shuffle, I could not tell you much about them, but hearing who all is making up their roster, that could be a thing. Now, hang on, I need to do a quick aside right here. How many teams do we have from Colorado coming to this tournament? Are we at 3? Are there 3 teams going to Founders Cup in Colorado? or from Colorado? Because if that's the case,
two.
where the hell were they at the Colorado tournament? Okay, there are only two. But
most of them were there.
Okay.
Northside chapter is from Ice Cream Sandwiches, folks, and
I guess there are only two teams in Colorado, and they play in the Colorado tournament, and then they come to Founders.
Mile High Club as well. So yeah, they were there kind of.
That being said, don't cancel the Denver tournament. It's my favorite tournament of the year. Do not cancel it, even though nobody from Colorado goes to it. That being said, wrapping up. Yep, Sofa King wins this pool. However, they're going to have a little bit of a fight getting past Howie's Heavers. Smooth Criminals, I don't see getting them too much of a fight. Smooth Criminals, Howie's Heavers, flip a coin. And Truffle Shuffle, I don't know enough about, other than just some of the names that were bandied about. They could be an absolute dark horse wild card in that pool.
Adam, you got anything else to add?
I looked at the Truffle Shuffle roster. I don't recognize any of the names as being big parts of the teams you mentioned. So I don't know if they're going to be much of a threat as a dark horse here. If everything Patty says is true, which is rarely the case, Howie Heavers might be the dark horse team here, the 23 seed. But I think Sofa's going to cruise out of this pool as the winner.
Yeah, I think my point with just having some players, you might not have a lot of players on these teams, and we didn't do a very in-depth analysis. We just did a quick scrub once they released their rosters. But it's always good to have players on teams that have competed at multiple events. Oftentimes you go to the Founders Cup and people are kind of shell-shocked. Yes, it's a kickball tournament, and it's not the most serious. People do take it seriously, but some people can't perform under the lights, or in the case for Founders Cup, in the bowl. And if you've never been in a competitive environment, you don't know how to behave and you don't know how to adjust based on the different pitchers you're going to see, it can affect you. But if you have players on your team that have been through multiple scenarios in competitive tournaments, it's an advantage, in my opinion.
Yes.
Right. Pool D, let's get this thing rolling. Shockwave 4. Fourth in WAKA. They actually only went to the Virginia Mid-Atlantic Tournament. They are not a WAKA regular season team, but they are very familiar with kickball in general. They are ranked right now the #1 seed on the circuit. The Andy Dufresnes are number 17 of Albuquerque. Again, half of the team from the HH Dukes that won a kickball for the kids. Revamp is number 24. They did go to a circuit event in 2013, but I didn't look at too much data, but the team has been to a circuit event in the past. And then the Honey Badgers, number 37 out of CA Solar. And the Honey Badgers have attended circuit events, and they're currently ranked 43rd on the circuit calendar or circuit ranking system.
Is it the same Honey Badgers?
No. I believe so. No?
It could be. The name is common. I've seen it around.
It is common, so I take it back. My mistake. All right, so Patty, we'll start with you.
I don't think there's any surprises here. Yeah, Shockwave coming in as the number 4 seed. A lot of people had questions about that, but in the WAKA world, it makes sense. But yeah, everybody knows Shockwave is one of the favorites to come through and win this tournament. So that's kind of the scoop with them. The Andy Dufresnes, not the Andy Dufresnes. Oh my God, I thought Adrock was the. Learn how to speak.
Horrible names. I'm gonna have fun with it.
Oh no! All of the names are awful in this tournament.
I do like Steelers.
They've had some. They've been around both in the circuit, and we've seen them. We have seen them at Founders Cup in the past. Revamp, I played against them a couple of years ago in Austin. I think that is the one circuit tournament they've been to. They may have been to some others, but they've got some talent on the squad, so they can make something happen. Honey Badgers, I couldn't tell you anything about them except for that they have a name that everybody else did because apparently they don't give a. Can we say fuck? So yeah, that's Honey Badger. I don't see anything other than Shockwave winning the pool, and for Andy Dufresne's Revamp coming out number 2, flip a coin. Who knows?
Shane?
Yeah, I'm with everyone here. Shockwave is going to be the clear favorite. They've obviously just got to avoid the letdown, avoid something like a freak injury, because that's the only thing that's going to stop them. They will absolutely blindside the rest of this pool, who does not know what they're capable of. Shockwave is 3-0 with a huge run differential. I see Revamp being the second seed out only because of that experience that Patty mentioned at a circuit tournament. They know what's expected of them. I expect them to break rank here and come out the 2 seed. Honey Badgers, again, it just may be 3 and out here. The Andy Friends could steal a win, steal a point, but I still see Shockwave and Revamp pretty clearly out of Pool D.
Hadrock, you got anything to add?
I'm just so excited for the WAKA world to see Shockwave.
It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be
They're
it's
fast.
gonna be something. So I mean, Shockwave is gonna pretty
How
much
about when-
steamroll through the
How
pool.
about when Mach 3 Tremaine gets on the mound and starts pitching to some of these
that
teams?
might not even happen in pool play, so they might luck out. But
Yeah, very true.
just the pure athleticism on this team, you're gonna think a couple NFL guys decided to pick up kickball. But
Tremaine.
so Shockwave, roll, Revamp has the experience. They should roll. I think the Honey Badgers are going to be the odd team out here.
All right.
You do bring up a really interesting point about Shockwave and WAKA seeing them for the first time. I think it would be awesome if there were at least a few players, possibly even whole teams, at this tournament that the first time they see Shockwave get up and Tremaine starts pitching, that the players just look at each other, take out their jerseys, throw them on the ground, and go take up shuffleboard. Okay, that being said, I mean, yes, Shockwave's a hell of a team, but I'm not trying to be too masturbatory towards them. They're a great team, great people, but that being said, they are beatable. So, it's certainly something that WAKA hasn't quite seen before, but that being said, enough of these other top teams are smart enough that, Shockwave is the favorite, but that being said, they're not a guaranteed win at this tournament.
All right. Adrock, as we look at your belly, I'm going to start with you. We'll start Pool E. We've got Los Brew Crew, ranked number 5 out of California, also the team we know as Brew Crew Cartel, or at least a lot of the players. You've got number 16, Gorilla Juiceheads, same circuit team we know, that's ranked 36th this year. They went to SSKO in Orlando, they went to Austin, they went to Jacksonville, and they went to South Florida this year. So heavy experience this year in the circuit world. You've got Mixed Nuts, ranked 25th out of Texas, Tornado. Mixed Nuts has had a pretty good year. We have not seen them that often this year. They did attend Austin, but they are not, for whatever reason, in the state of Texas, not attending Circuit Cup. We'll leave that for another topic or another show. And then you've got the Ponies of Death, ranked 36th out of California, and I didn't have anything on them. Maybe you might. What do you think?
I think Los Brew Crew is the cream of the crop here. Gorilla Juiceheads, I mean, I think if you watched the show before and you know what tournament they've been in, I've had a chance to talk to them. They threatened me and told me not to overlook them in Austin, and they proceeded to go 0-4 in the pool. So it's hard to really give them much respect here. They didn't make it out of the pool last year. They do have some athletes, but
Definitely do.
they're going to make it out of the pool here, and I think Mixed Nuts is going to be the next team, unless Patty knows something about the Ponies of Death that I don't, because he might.
All right, Patty, what do you got for us?
Los Brew Crew, the California side of Brew Crew Cartel, they're out of this pool pretty easily. I think Gorilla Juiceheads are ranked a bit too high. They're ranked 16th going into this tournament. If I'm not mistaken, they didn't make it out of pool play last year. I think they've had a little bit of success in some tournaments, but I think for the most part, everybody's just kind of afraid of their name. Because if you hear somebody called Gorilla Juiceheads, you don't want to disrespect them because they'll go on a roid rage and kick your ass. Mixed Nuts out of Texas, they've got a shot. Ponies of Death. Ponies of Death is a squad out of SoCal. They got their bid through the Hollywood League this year. They're not great, but they're one of those squads that they can get sneaky on you. They made it to the semifinals in the Hollywood League, which is generally a pretty competitive league in Southern California. They've won a couple of other leagues a few times. I mean, they're an interesting team that can sneak one by on you. I don't know if I see them sneaking several games by. I think they're probably going to be at the bottom of this tournament, or bottom of this pool. But that said, I'm glad to see them there. And if they do sneak something by, then it's a three-way fight between Gorilla Juicehead, Mixed Nuts, and Ponies of Death. Who knows?
Okay.
I agree with Patty. This pool gets very hairy after Los Brew Crew. I expect them to go 3-0 without much trouble. On a good day, Gorilla Juiceheads will win a close game. On a bad day, they will not score any runs. Mixed Nuts is capable of a little bit better. So I see that as a fight being between those two squads. The 20s of Death, I mean, Patty is right, could lay a freak loss or a freak tie on Gorilla Juice Heads and Mixed Nuts. It's really hard to pick a second team out of this. The chalk says Gorilla Juice Heads. My feeling is that when Mixed Nuts plays better, they're a little bit more capable of offense. When Gorilla Juice Heads tends to let the heat of the game get the better of them, it's usually their offense that suffers. So I'm gonna go with Mixed Nuts tentatively as the second team out of Pool E, behind obvious favorites Brew Crew, who should be at least a threat to go Elite Eight or deeper in this tournament.
Agreed. All right, yeah, I confirmed Gorilla Juice Heads did not advance last year, so that's
there you go.
Redeem themselves with a smaller pool. Pool F, Patty, we're gonna start with you. I've got 6, the Kicktators, out of California with Stephen O's and a bunch of really good folks. You'll get their rankings. Some of the players are the Gargoyles. I'll let you comment on that. The Dark Side Colorado Chapter 2.0. I missed 1.0. Maybe you guys can tell me what that's a reference to. Some of the players on the team have played on El Guapo, Ice Cream Sandwiches, Catalina Wine Mixers, and Smoking Bunts. So they have some experience from the Colorado area. Colorado is known for Go Kickball, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of competition comes out of Denver. Mount Up, ranked 26th in the country out of Vermont. Mount Up is one of those teams that might be a dark horse. Maybe Adrock has some comments for them later, but we didn't find any circuit ties to them, at least in this year. And then 35 is Big Blue out of Connecticut. Big Blue, again, a team we didn't find a lot of details, but one where we kind of looked at it and said, wow, 35, they've been to a regional. Patty, what do you think?
Well, I can't speak to Mount Up or Big Blue because, like you, I know little to nothing about them other than at least Big Blue has blue in their name and a blue-colored shirt. So there's no confusion there, and we have to appreciate them for that. Mount Up out of Vermont, I think I flew over Vermont on a plane once. Dark Side Colorado Chapter 2.0. People familiar with the boards and with Circuit Kickball will know that this team is headed up by Justin Dice Anderson. And I think Joe Robertson, who looks spectacular when he's not wearing a shirt, which is often, is I think co-captaining and also on that squad. You mentioned there's some Guapo players. They're going to be, I think, a pretty solid squad. We'll see how they do. Particularly because they have some of, I'm guessing they have some of the Mile High ladies from the women's tournaments on that squad, and if that's the case, then this team becomes very dangerous. Kicktators, also known as the Gargoyles, also known as my former team. They will be doing well. They got to the semifinals last year, and got, I think, in the semifinals of the regional this year, which is how they got their bid. According to WAKA, it says they are from Pasadena. That is not true. They're from Long Beach with some LA and some Orange County. I don't think there are any Kicktators who live in Pasadena with the exception of one player whose parents might live in Pasadena. I'm not sure. Anyway, the Kicktators should do all right in this pool. I mean, they're set up to go okay. They've got most of the players that they want. They're going to be tough. But again, not knowing anything about Mount Up or Big Blue, with Adrock hinting that both of those squads might be a little bit of a trap game. I mean, yeah, on paper, Kicktators win it, but I don't have all the information. Adrock, what can you tell us about Mount Up and Big Blue?
Well, Mount Up out of Burlington, they've been a perennial Founders Cup team, I think, 3 years now. They never made it too deep. I think round of 16, farthest they made it. They actually went to the Hartford Regional with a kind of a skeleton squad, not everyone. They have some athletes, a couple former D1 guys that are fast and athletic and picked up the game fast. The core position, the infield, is going to be strong as far as I know. And their run ratio in their league is ridiculous. It's something like 122 runs scored, 4 against. That doesn't say much in terms of small.
From Maine many years ago had the same thing when Sitch won it or OSC won it. I couldn't remember.
Yeah. Doesn't say much coming from a small market, but it says that they know how to score runs regardless, and they know
how to keep the defense solid. I mean, if they only gave up 4 runs all season, that's kind of saying something.
Yeah, so I think they might be a little trap game here. Big Blue, played in the Hartford Regional, lost in the semifinals to my team by only 1 run. They actually won the Hartford tournament the year before it was a regional, over some circuit teams.
Okay.
So they might be pretty decent if they're bringing everyone. And their league record, reason why I think they're so low, they lost 3 games. 2 of those games were lost to the Wolfpack, which some of you guys might know. Fierce rivals, close games, and another one was lost to a very good team that refuses to travel. But these guys know how to play. I think, to me, this is the pool of death so far.
Okay. Well, there you go, Shane. What do you think of it? Is this a pool of death?
You know, it's funny. In the beginning, I thought this was straight chalk. I thought this was Kicktators, and I thought that, absent some weird spark of irrational non-chemistry, Darkside was going to be the 2nd seed, no problem, and it was just a matter of how much Darkside could lay on the Kicktators. Mount Up and Big Blue have experience. They have the ability to be, as you mentioned, trap games. They're no stranger to tournament experience. They're capable of putting a lot of runs, but again, they're also capable of losing games they should win. That has been kind of Mount Up's problem in trying to get over the hurdle at Founders Cup. They lose games they should win. Same thing with Big Blue. Wolfpack is a fairly experienced veteran team, and you've got to find ways to beat these folks in league. If Darkside can get it together, they have the pieces, the talent, certainly have the coaching befitting a 2nd seed, then yes, this pool is either absolute chalk, where it's 3-0, 2-1, and the others are either 1-2 or 0-2-1, or this pool is a mess. This pool could be your 1-1-1 across pool. It's hard. There's no really middle ground here. Either it's an obvious chalk advancement, or it's just chaos at the bottom. I still, though, like Kicktators and Darkside out of this one. I wouldn't be surprised if this one goes absolutely haywire on game day.
Another thing to add is Big Blue beat Mount Up in that Hartford Regional.
Okay. Wait. Are you serious? Did they fail at regional protection isn't here? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
What is this, a circuit event?
Yeah.
Hey, come on. It's a legit complaint. You know it.
I know. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to play with the best.
Yeah,
All right,
sure.
so Pool G. We'll move on, and Shane, we'll start with you. We've got Relax and Let It Happen coming in at number 7. Relax, we all know, circuit event team. They're ranked 8th right now in the circuit standings. Legit coming in at 14 out of Florida. Legit, again, is a circuit team coming in at 25th. Legit has had a chance to travel to Orlando, Denver, Jacksonville, Georgia, and South Florida this year, so they have plenty of tournament experience. 27th ranked is Kickball Union Local 501 out of California Star. Kickball Union is a team that has a couple players from SOFA, Stage 5 Run Fast, Base Kick Cities. They've attended, some of the players, not all, but some of the players attended Best of the West, Kick for the Kids, and San Diego this year. So some experience. And then Steel Reserve, a team out of DC Lightning, the other DC team. Steel Reserve has a couple players who play on Rockstar, not a lot. Shane, what are your thoughts on Pool G?
Oh, this is a good group to have this particular panel discuss, seeing as how 2 of us are on Relax. So, without the proverbial Captain Gun to my head, this should be a 3-0 pool for Relax. This should be a very close game with Legit. Again, one of those teams that can score clutch runs in a hurry or just run dead cold if it's not working out for them. You would think the chalk should hold here. Relax and Legit should advance. This is a pretty clear divide between the top 2 teams and the others. It will be interesting to see if the Kickball Union and Steelers are both teams in the bottom half of this pool can pull something together and make some noise. Kickball Union could steal a close game. They could steal their way into the wild card round. Perhaps they have the talent and the experience to do it. Steelers might be overmatched, and it's tough to say that from any team coming out of D.C. We're used to historically seeing more teams, at least in the heyday of Founders Cup. The core was in D.C. I don't think he'll quite see it with Steel Reserve. So I see Relax and Legit, pretty easy 3-0, 2-1. Kickball Union definitely has a shot if they keep things close and they keep the damage to a minimum of potentially advancing to the bracket as a wild card.
Adrock will keep it in the family. What are your thoughts?
I think Kickball Union will be the winner here. Just kidding, guys. Come on. Relax is destroying everyone in this pool. Actually, that's not true. Legit's going to put up a nice game. They have some good players, but Relax and Legit far and away 1 and 2 in this pool. Steel Reserve, Kickball Union kind of fighting it out with open hand slaps for that last spot.
All right, Patty, what do you think?
I'm not going to make any discussion about Relax or Legit other than to say hi, Mike, if Mike is in fact playing with Legit at this tournament. I hope to see him there, and I think he owes me a Struggle Bus shirt if he managed to get one from Orlando. Kickball Union Local 501, it's from the Star League here in Southern California, the Thursday night league. I actually played on that team in league play. It is Winfield's team. Winfield was there taking a similar variation of this team to Founders Cup last year under the name the 1%. Michael Winfield is a professional at creating interesting themed kickball teams. And this was, of course, the Union team. As far as how well they do, they've got a chance to make a little bit of noise, but unfortunately I don't see them doing too much against Relax. They might squeak one against Legit, but as much as I love everybody on the squad, I've got to agree with Ad Rock that it's going to be a fight between Kickball Union Local 501 and Steel Reserve, which is really interesting in that both of them are, working man kind of teams. You got the steel, steel makers and the union people, and you got Legit and Relax and whatever your stupid name is.
White collar.
Blue collar.
No, we're white collar.
All right, I'll jump into
white collar. I'm blue collar. You're no collar, Ad Rock. Come on, take your shirt off.
Not yet. Let's get through the show.
Okay.
Pool H, we've got #Menace out of California, Tinseltown. #Menace is one of those teams where they have players from SOFA, Thunder Buddies, the Gordon Bombays, and Gargoyles. You've got
Relax.
And Black.
Relax. I'll get that.
We'll get there. No, this is going to be a great conversation, Adam.
NorCal Nightmare coming at number 13. I can turn to Shane on that one. 28 Walk of Shame out of Texas. Walk of Shame is actually ranked in the circuit at 21. So a little interesting mix-up there. They are going to be at the Circuit Cup Championship, and they did attend the Kansas Kickball Open. And then you've got Public Enemy out of Massachusetts at 33rd, and Public Enemy is a team to kind of take note. They do have players from that team who played on Pitch Intense, who did attend D.C., Virginia Beach, Pennsylvania Kickball Open, and the South Florida Kickball Open. So you've got some talent spread out across the teams. I'll start with Patty. What are you thinking about Pool H?
Couldn't tell you anything about Public Enemy. Walk of Shame, that's another one of those sneaky 3 seeds. They've been around enough, and I mean, I've played them a couple of times. They have the potential to be a tough squad. For those paying attention to the boards, Walk of Shame is also is Walk of Shame, is it their captain that gets into the big fights all the time with the Relax captain?
Yep.
Perhaps not. Either way, known team from Texas. They should do okay. NorCal Nightmare, Shane, I'll let you speak to this when we get to you, but I think they might be they might be ranked a little bit high in this tournament. They barely got out of pool play last year at Founders, and they've certainly been up and down on the circuit over the past couple of years. I think 13 is a little bit high and a little bit generous ranking for them. And now we get to Menace. I'm not saying the fucking hashtag because the hashtag is awful. Mattioli, Amy, get rid of the damn hashtag. Okay. Yes, I called them out. Menace is my pick for the overall. Granted, they're ranked number 8, but they're, I think, the biggest sleeper of this tournament. I mean, 8 is certainly a generous ranking, but the roster of this squad is very, very strong. They've got a lot of good players on it. They've been doing well. They came from what used to be a larger league in SoCal. That league has since shrunk down. The Tinseltown League, I think, only had 6 teams this past season. But that said, Menace, and still just dominated the league. They used their free agency to pick up some very strong players, and as you mentioned, Adrock, two players that traditionally play with Relax and Lock It Up on the circuit, Matt Smook and Jackie Leonard, will be playing with Menace at this tournament. So they've got a lot of players that are very good. They've got a lot of depth, provided the team manages itself well. I'm almost going to toss out the possibility of Menace going Final Four this year at Founders.
Wow. Adrock.
I know this. I know that a few people, maybe even just one on Menace, left SOFA to play for Menace because they thought there was a really great chance of this team doing good things. And that says a lot, coming from the team that's ranked third, to leave them to go to this team.
Wow.
And I know Smokey, he's one of our best players on the circuit. And through an unfortunate set of events we call the Brick Clause, him and Jackie were not allowed to join us this season, and so they played for their league team, Menace, and they're two of the better players on Relax, our travel team. So two big parts that they're going to add there. As Patty said, they ran things in their league. I think they are a dark horse. NorCal Nightmare, another ex-Relax player, Wilson, leads this team. Yeah. Probably the biggest Asian besides Yao Ming that I've ever met. He's a solid player. Couple other guys from the Final Four team, Pody from a couple of years ago, plays for this team.
All right.
So they know what they're doing. I think a couple of them getting a little old, but they'll toss their hat in the ring.
Right.
Walk of Shame. I think they're captained by our old pal Dre, who, like you said, gets in arguments with our team a lot. Friendly, of course, I think. But they know how to play. They've been around a while. They're the second best team down in the Austin League, behind yours truly. And then Public Enemy. They played in the Hartford Regional to a point, I think. You said a couple players played from, what was the team out of Boston you said they're from?
Pitchers Intense.
Yeah, they played in the Hartford Regional, did pretty well. But I still think Menace, NorCal, Walk of Shame are probably a step ahead.
All right, Shane?
I agree with Patty. Menace has the ability to go Final Four. They certainly have the talent. If they can keep things even-keeled, they could be extremely well-coached and dynamic in ways that will surprise people. A lot of potential for a lot of disruptive strategy. This team is serious about going deeper. They should 3-0 this pool.
Wow.
I played with NorCal Nightmare. I've coached against them, played with them. This is a team that is very hot and cold. Their defense, in some respects, can keep them in it. Joe is a very good pitcher. They are somewhat down on the depth chart in terms of Charger. Pat Hanley is an all-world person, but they've had to put him at Charger because they simply don't have the talent at that position. That was admittedly a liability in Long Beach, and it really, I think, prevented the momentum from getting going. It wasn't really until the last inning at Best of the West that NorCal shows what they're capable of. On a good day, they will line drive and bloop single the crap out of the ball. That's the NorCal that is the 13 season that could go 2-1. But I agree, the ranking's a little bit high, and maybe that is a lot of, I think, historic concession to NorCal's previous iterations and lives as your balls are foul and Best Coast ballers. And truthfully, some of those regulars aren't around anymore. I do see Walk of Shame as being the second team out of this pool if NorCal does not fix their offense problem and doesn't get more depth at the skill positions. Walk of Shame hangs very, very tough. On a good day, they will give a top seed a lot of trouble. They could give Menace a lot of trouble. That's a potential trap game for Menace. Likewise, the Public Enemy, we don't know. We don't know if they'll gel enough. They'll marshal their experience. This is a very strong 4 seed if we're calling it that. And certainly they could swap places with NorCal Nightmare. But I do see Menace as clear pool winner and possible dark horse Final Four threat. Walk of Shame with a hair of an advantage over NorCal, and then Public Enemy rounding things out.
Wow, I got to say, I wasn't really thinking much about Menace, but you guys have convinced me as a team I should be tracking on Saturday.
Yeah, and I do need to say one final thing, and Adrock alluded to it a little bit in regards to Smooky. It should be known that going into this tournament, in the past 2 weeks, Smook has won 3 different league championships.
Wow.
And in the most recent one that he won on Sunday night, he actually got the league MVP for that as well. So he's coming into this tournament very, very strong and very, very hot. It's too bad that he's not playing on relax. It's good for Menace. It's bad for you, Adrock. And no, I did not say that because Matt told me to say that.
Hey, that's the relaxed way, Patty. That's how we roll.
Okay,
That's
okay.
the relaxed way.
All right. So we've got 2 pools left. Pool I. Patty, we'll start with you on this one. We've got O'Danny Balls coming at number 9, a team that we know on the circuit as the 18th ranked team in the circuit. They've been to quite a bit of teams, and they will be at Circuit Cup Championship. You've got Barely Legal Pitch Pleasers and coming at number 12 out of California, Hollywood. Barely Legal is a team that does have some very Gordon Bombay-esque team. Beaver Fever for some of the girls are playing in the Women's Open Championship in San Antonio with the circuit next month. So a team that has some players that know what they're doing. Also, you've got ranked 29th out of North Carolina is 99 Problems, but a pitch ain't one. Such a clever original team name. The captain of that team did attend the Georgia Kickball Open for Sunday Funday Crew. So again, a team that's captained by someone who has seen a competitive circuit event and should know what they're doing, even though they're coming in at 29th. And then you've got Pitch Slapped, the 32nd team out of Nevada, out of Las Vegas. Pitch Slapped, excuse me. I did not find a link to. Patty, maybe you know what's going on with this pool, but I would assume it's no Danny Balls.
Well, before we get into the breakdown of the competition side of it, somebody suggested, I think it was Haysby from Arizona, wanted Pitches Be Crazy and from Pool J and O'Danny Balls to be swapped, so that Pool I could have 4 teams with the name Pitch in the title. Every single goddamn team in this pool has a horrible name. Pitch Slap. That's awful. 99 Problems, but a pitch ain't one? That's awful. O'Danny Balls, I like the Irish, but it's awful. And Barely Legal Pitch Pleasers is a fucking atrocious name. It's a combination of Barely Legal Little Leaguers who went and who played in Founders last year, and Pitch Please from Hollywood, who played in Founders for a number of years, and they combined, and that's the name they came up with. Disclaimer. I play on Barely Legal Pitch Pleasers. So I want you to know that my wrath and ire for shitty kickball team names is not limited to everyone else. I look in the mirror just as much as I look at all of you, and it's a shitty damn name.
All right, with that said,
Pitch Slapped, again, know nothing about them. I couldn't tell you a damn thing except for their name sucks. 99 Problems, but a pitch ain't one. Their name still sucks. But these guys have been to Founders Cup a few times before. I played against them years ago, Wake and Bake, and I think it was a very close game. In fact, I don't remember if we beat them or if they beat us or we tied, but they're a perennial player out of North Carolina, so they could be kind of a tough team. And then you get to the Barely Legal Pitch Pleasers and O'Danny Balls. Since we're down at the bottom and we've got the 9 seed versus the 12 seed, that game, which is the 10 o'clock game, it's the first game that we have in the pool. I call that one a coin flip. I could not make a prediction on that one. O'Danny Balls, obviously a storied circuit team, been around a bit and done rather well. Barely Legal Pitch Pleasers is very, very similar to the Gordon Bombays, which has done well in the circuit. Granted, a bit inconsistent, but certainly done well. Yeah, I think, barring any surprises from 99 Problems or Pitch Slapped, I think it's a coin flip between O'Danny Balls and Barely Legal Pitch. Call it Bleep, okay? B-L-P-P Bleep. Just call the team Bleep. Anybody who calls the team Bleep over the weekend, I will give a shot of Fireball to. Do not say Barely Legal Pitch Pleasers because it's awful. Who's next?
All right, so before we get to Shane, let me just ask you this, Patty, since you're familiar with 99 Problems. Last year they ranked 41st and did not advance. This year they jump all the way up to 29th. Is it an indication of performance from last year or maybe what they did in their local league, or any idea?
Well, I have no idea. I don't even remember when they were ranked. I think they were ranked about the middle of the year that I played them on Wake and Bake. And you said they were ranked 40-something last year? That's
first. They had Pitches Be Crazy in their pool. Will Spot You 10 and Menace to Sobriety. They were last in their pool. I can't find the scores, but
sure. Well, then, yeah, if that's the case, I mean, based on how they've done historically, I mean, certainly they've come to Founders Cup, but based on their performance last year, yeah, I would consider 29 something of a generous seeding for them.
Very much so. All right, Shane, what do you think about Pool I?
I do think this is a big fight between the 9 and the 12, between O'Denny Balls and Bleep. Sorry, I won't be at Vegas to collect that shot, Matty.
I'll come down to San Diego and give it to you, my friend.
This could be a tough one. O'Denny Balls could, as they sometimes do, save their best for the afternoon. So I don't think it'll be anyone else but O'Denny Balls and Bleep. But the order could change. This could be a very interesting, as Patty mentioned, 10 o'clock game between two very veteran teams. I'm not sure what's going on with NC Glory. I mean, Sunday Funday Crew has shown some flashes of brilliance occasionally on tour with the circuit, but we're unclear of the squad they're bringing here. Pitch slapped, unfortunately, they're along for the ride. They'll put up a good fight, but I don't think it's going to be their day out of Pool I. I do see O'Denny Balls and Bleep getting out of this pool very, very easily, and not much beyond that.
Adrock, anything to add?
Well, part of the Bleep team I've played before and thought they were pretty decent players. I've also played O'Denny Balls and had the pleasure of losing to them. So I think I'm gonna have to stick with O'Denny Balls. I think their experience with really competitive kickball. You know, the next level kickball, what really sets teams apart at this tournament is being prepared for the fast pitch. And I think O'Denny Balls has that down better than probably the other team. I'm going to go O'Denny Balls, Bleep, and then another terrible name in purple.
Good to know. All right. So I think with that said, we'll get to the final pool of the WAKA Founders Cup 17, which is on Saturday. We've got Dry Heat coming in at number 10, the Arizona team. Dry Heat is a team that has a few folks that we know as Brew Crew Cartel, Crooked Roosters, and some straight Fallen players. So they have circuit experience, number 10 ranking. We'll get to that if we think that might be a little too high or low. At number 11, we've got Pitches Be Crazy, the other Las Vegas team. A couple players that have seen circuit kickball, and a couple players who have been to Denver and have also been to the Arizona circuit events this year. You've got the number 30 team out of West Virginia, which we'd love to see you at a DC tournament, called Team Bag Tag. Team Bag Tag has one random player that was on Crooked Roosters at San Diego this year, but I couldn't find any more than that. So one guy happens to be from West Virginia, which I thought was interesting. And then coming in at 31, you've got, all right, cool. At 31, you've got, just got covered by a message, Simi Truckers. I'm just going to screw that up and say Sim Truckers.
Simi Truckers.
No, I know it's Simi Valley, but I'm going to call it Sim, because I am. All right, so with that said, Shane.
That's another one of my teams.
All right, Shane, Pool J, what do you think before you got to run?
All right, this should be a pretty easy advancement for Dry Heat and Pitches Be Crazy. They're going to beat each other up a little bit. The real question is, this Arizona team is loaded with talent. Can they get further? I see them as easily getting into the main bracket. But I think, if they don't make the Elite Eight, this will be a disappointment for them. Arizona has tried to just stack talent for Founders Cup. It has not worked out yet. This could be the year they do it. There seems to be a revival with Crooked Roosters, and they play well. They'll give anyone a run. Pitches Be Crazy is kind of, I think they're running on reputation here. This is a shadow of the team that kind of shocked the world and went Final Four a few years back at Founders Cup. Some of the personnel is not there, most tellingly Jason Braswell. I don't think his name appears on the roster. He was so clutch for them in that Magic Cinderella run. He's not around. But there's a clear gap here between Dry Heat and Pitches Be Crazy. I see Dry Heat as a 3-0 pool and a team that should, on paper, make the Elite Eight. Pitches Be Crazy is the second seed out.
All right, Adrock, what do you think?
Well, I think I don't remember the team name, or maybe they've completely dismantled and went elsewhere. But there was a team out of Vegas 2 years ago that we played in a limbs that was way decent. And we barely squeaked out of that one, whether it be us overlooking them or what. But Pitches Be Crazy sounds familiar. So I'm going to go ahead and give them the benefit of the doubt and say that's them. Shot in the dark because the 11th seed. I think they're going to give Dry Heat a little bit of a run here, especially in the 10-11 matchup. Team Bag Tag. I don't know what to say there. But I know Simi Valley has really good cross-country runners. So I'm just going to base that and go with Simi Truckers as the third team out of that pool.
The SimCity Truckers are pretty good. I don't know. All right, just for point of reference before we get to Patty, Pitches Be Crazy, last year's number 4 ranked team going into Founders Cup, and Team Bag Tag ranked 33rd last year and 30th this year. Patty, what are your thoughts on Pool J?
Well, Pitches Be Crazy, yeah, ranked number 4 last year going into the tournament. They went down to Menace in pool play last year, and I think got knocked out in the Elims. Last year, Pitches Be Crazy also had known circuit player and circuit regular Brent Taylor. That Founders Cup last year was the tournament where he decided to turn his ankle 90 degrees, which made for some
second inning, the very first, right?
Yeah, it was whatever game that I think he played Menace, but nevertheless, Brent decided to destroy his ankle at the tournament last year. I don't see him on the roster this year for Pitches Be Crazy. As Shane said, there's some other players from historic. The historic team Pitches Be Crazy that aren't on the squad. So, yeah, I'm going to give this one to Dry Heat, provided they can get some synergy and play well. Obviously, they've got a lot of great players on the squad, but Arizona is the second most fragmented state in the country as far as who's playing on what team. The first one, of course, being here in Southern California, as is proved by the fact that the Simi Truckers out of Simi Valley, California, another team that I play on in league play, going into the 31 spot. The 31 spot seems about right. I see them maybe taking Team Bag Tag, depending on what Team Bag Tag has. And Pitches Be Crazy, I don't know if I see the Simi Truckers taking them. One of the Simi Truckers are one of the teams that really suffered from what I refer to as the Southern California incest roster scramble, because so many teams from SoCal get invites every year. It really does become kind of a scramble. Some teams end up getting very strong with the players that they pick up, as is the case with Menace, with Sofa. The Brew Crew, Los Brew Crew, I don't know that they picked up too many people. Because I don't think they have as many people that play in multiple leagues that are going to Founders Cup. Simi Truckers, pretty reasonable league team, but they did get crippled a little bit by multiple people going and playing with other squads. Simi Truckers in league has players from SOFA, from Bleep, etc., and a lot of those players aren't with the Truckers. They're with other players. They're one of the teams that have taken the worst hit for the Southern California incest roster disaster.
I appreciate that. Well, we just lost Shane from San Diego doing this, but that was great to have him with his insight. So, guys, we just broke through all the pools for Founders Cup this year. I took some notes while we were walking through this. Let me just take a step back and kind of talk about some of the themes I noticed, and then I'll turn to you guys for comments. Pros and cons of the rankings I mentioned at the top of the show. We kept every one of us at one point during the last 30 minutes or so has said this team's higher than they should be, or this team's ranking is probably based off of what they did last year, not the caliber of players that are on the field this year. Let me ask, right now, I've got 3 dark horses, and you guys can tell me if you agree or disagree and if I miss one. Number 1, in no order, Big Blue. Number 2, Mount Up, team out of Vermont, right?
Yep.
Hashtag Menace. Who else did you guys think that might be a dark horse for this event?
I think Hollywood Hubris might end up surprising some people. I don't know if I'd call them a full-on dark horse so much as that. Well, yeah, maybe I would give Hollywood Hubris a dark horse as opposed to just a trap game. And Walk of Shame out of Texas. They're definitely in the conversation for that. And Howie's Heavers, I think Howie's Heavers is more of a trap game than a dark horse. So yeah, I'd take your list and add Hollywood Hubris.
All right, Ad-Rock, what do you got?
Well,
Did we miss anybody?
I assume you're talking about teams ranked over 20, and I don't really see anyone.
No.
Well, I think the Dark Side Colorado could make some noise. They're ranked 15th. Not
All right.
much of it, but I think they're going to be solid. Other than them, I don't really see anyone else that's going to be much of a difference maker than what we've named.
All right, very cool. Let me ask you guys this question then. The top 5 teams, Stitch, OSC, Sofa King, Shockwave, and Los Brew Crew. Of those 5, okay, well, really 4, but of those 5, do all 5, or is the Final 4 coming from those 5 teams, or are we going to see someone else sneak in?
I'll tell you that. Sorry to take over. Two interesting round of 8 matchups that will decide that will be the Situation versus Menace and OSC versus Relax. I think Sofa and Shockwave are pretty much a shoo-in to the Final 4.
All right, now, Patty, what do you got?
Well, I would lean towards agreeing with Ad-Rock on this one in that, yeah, those 5 squads, very easy candidates for the Final 4, but we do have to pay attention to specifically Relax and Let It Happen and Menace. I think of everybody in the list, those are the 2 squads not in the top 4 as far as initial rankings that have a pretty good shot of making it to the Final 4. It all depends on how people come out of their brackets, if people come out expected for their brackets, and then if they execute accordingly. Because as we know, brackets are set. The elimination brackets are predetermined in Founders Cup, which I have some disagreement with. I see how it made sense years ago, particularly when they were paying attention to one of my favorite things, and that is regional protectionism. The elimination brackets have done a lot to try and alleviate any geographically close teams playing one another. But as kickball has progressed and people have become more familiar and better, thanks to 365 as well as other leagues, the fact that they don't reseed coming out of pool play is a bit of a concern, particularly when, as we've discussed, the initial rankings might not necessarily be as accurate as they could be, regardless of which logic is used. That is the entire kickball, including circuit tournaments, charity tournaments, and WAKA, versus just WAKA events. So it's nice that there's some of that regional protectionism kind of built in, but it does make for some interesting round of 8 matchups that could, it's the lack of the reseed and having a predetermined path to the finals is great 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. I think it's archaic and a bit of a dinosaur nowadays.
So I'm looking at, I just had the bracket up on my screen, and we were talking about this before we went live on the show, and what you're talking about. It's a weighted bracket, to say the least. So right now, on the right-hand side, you've got, assuming everybody wins like they're supposed to win, you've got Pool B winner and Pool, no, I take that back, Pool B winner, OSC. Let's just do the winners going into the quarterfinals.
Sure.
We have OSC versus winner of Pool J or Pool G. So J is dry heat, G is relax. So let's just say it's relax in your quarterfinals, assuming the wild card is not a flying meatball attack like we had last year.
Right.
And then on the bottom half, in this case, WAKA's bracket 3, let's just assume it's winner of Pool F, which would be the Kicktators, and then you've got the winner of Pool C, which is Sofa. So on the right side of the bracket, that is a hell of a quarterfinal.
It is. It is. And on the left side of the bracket, there's certainly a notable lack of regional protectionism by putting two SoCal teams in a quarterfinal match together.
So Pool I and Pool H. Who's H and I?
That's
hashtag Menace.
Oh, Danny Balls and hashtag Menace.
All right, so you'd have Sitch versus one of those two guys, and then you'd have winner of Pool E, which is
Shockwave and Los Brew Crew in that bottom quadrant.
So that could potentially, there's your Elite Eight, and since we've kind of just done the quick math, assuming everybody wins out,
yeah,
that's a hell of a tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm ready to watch it. Put this thing on live. Well, yeah, you've got OSC, DC, Relax, Texas, Kicktators, California, SOFA, California. Sucks for them.
Yeah.
Virginia, Menace, California, ODB. Let's give it to Menace. If they have the talent, everyone's singing, everyone's hoping for a West Coast winner, finally. You've also got Los Brew Crew and Shockwave. Stitch, OSC, or Relax, I'll give you that, versus SOFA in your Final Four. You guys think that could, what are you thinking?
I mean, it could happen, but I mean, it is really interesting, particularly watching a lot of the chatter leading into the tournament. There's a lot of discussion about the predetermined brackets and the way everything is set up. But I mean, that said, the way that you just listed out the potential, quarterfinal, the round of 8 is. Jesus, I'm going to have to eat some crow here because I just gave WAKA shit for not reseeding, but that's actually, those are the two of this tournament anyway. Am I right?
That is a very my opinion, well balanced. Other than the Kicktator SOFA on the bottom right, that kind of sucks. And again, this is assuming a perfect world. Everybody goes 3-0 and they win those first 2 rounds. Adrock, what are you thinking? If you get stuck with OSC in the Elite Eight, you a happy camper? You're going to have to play the best, right?
I mean, I'm not as happy as I'd be if I was in bracket 3, but I'm pretty happy with that. I'm confident we could beat OSC. I mean, I come in every tournament thinking we can beat everyone. So, are we making Final Four predictions right now? Or are you just asking a question?
We're having the philosophical discussion of whether or not the reseed is problematic, and the way that we broke down to the Elite Eight. I don't know if the lack of reseed is problematic, provided everything happens the way that it's supposed to. Now, granted, this is kickball. Some teams show up and some teams don't on any given day. So no different than a circuit tournament that does reseed. The idea for the round of 16, or the round of 8, round of 4, whatever, it's kind of a snow globe shake anyway, except for Shockwave, who we continue to stroke off for the course of this year because they've just been doing so goddamn well.
Yeah, they have won 4 circuit events, and I personally think they will be in the finals. I don't think adding an extra fielder will only help them because the person's probably fast as hell.
Actually, you know what? That's going to be their downfall because in circuit they've got 10 players who are all ludicrously fast in the field, and it's just this wonderful dance where everybody's weaving beautifully. Everybody knows their lanes. They know what they're doing. If you add one more fast person to that delicate dance, it's going to snarl up like spaghetti. Shockwave isn't making it out of pool play. That's my prediction.
If they hadn't, I still wouldn't agree with you.
I wouldn't agree with me either. I'm talking out of my ass.
They saw, and here's where my last pro comment about Shockwave. It's not like they played in a WAKA league with 7 other teams that could care less. They just want to go to the bar. They want to socialize. They don't want to play with those poison pills that ruin the league experience unless you actually have a solid team that is social and has fun and buys everybody pictures and plays football. They went to the regional. They experienced a WAKA tournament. It was great that they had those this year. They've seen WAKA-like tournaments. The reffing hopefully will be top-notch. I know a lot of the circuit refs are going to this event. We all started with WAKA or Go Kickball or VAVI or whatever. So they should have solid refs, and they should have a solid experience in the bowl. And it shouldn't surprise many of them. They've been in that atmosphere. And, again, they've won 4 events. They've done very well. And they probably want to walk in and be like, look, you gave us a ticket to the big show. We're going to show you why we're #1 in the country in the circuit and make a statement. It'd be great.
And let us not forget, in New Orleans last year, there was only one squad that beat them.
Yeah. All right, let me ask you guys this. Always in the circuit world, not to get too much in the circuit cup, but let me just ask the question. Is there a chance we see a team go to Founders Cup and win against circuit teams? So 32 of these teams has some form, but only a few of them, I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or 10, are actually legit teams traveling this year. Can they win Saturday at Founders Cup and then win again on a month later in New Orleans? Can we actually see this happen? Do you guys think it could happen? Ad-Rock, what do you think? You think
I sure think
Stitch could actually pull this thing off?
I for sure think that could happen. I think some form of the roster of 5 of the top 10 teams in circuit are going to be in this tournament. So, I mean, I think anyone in the top 10 has a chance all the time.
Yeah, you've got Team 1. You've got Shockwave at 1 right now in our ranking system. Sitch 5th. Sofa King 6. OSC 7. O'Danny Balls 18. WAKA Shame 21. Los Brew Crew or Brew Crew Cartel 12. Legit at 25 and Gorilla Juice at 36.
What about Relax, bro?
Did I not say you? No. Yeah, you're 8. If I missed you, my apologies.
Yeah.
So, all right then.
If I'm not mistaken, Matt, you're asking for the genuine name, the double name win, a genuine double crown. And I think I think all of the ones in the conversation have a chance, whether it's Situation, OSC, Sofa, Shockwave, Brew Crew, or Relax. I mean, all of those guys have a shot at it. I think the ones with the likeliest shot at it are Situation, OSC, Shockwave. Yeah. And I say that with such a heavy heart because, God damn it, I would love to see a West Coast team win a championship at one of these tournaments this year for the national championship. I think, but I think those 3 are the best shot at it.
Well, you brought up my next question, and my previous question was, this taken into account as far as assuming everything works the way we think it might work with the final 8 teams. OSC has to run through Relax, Sofa has to run through Kicktators, Shockwave has Brew Crew or Los Brew Crew, and then Sitch has the hashtag. My follow-up question to the West Coast is, will we see a West Coast team get to the finals? Everyone seems to be gung-ho on hashtag Menace. Is that the best West Coast team playing in this tournament on Saturday? Or is it Sofa? Or is it Kicktators? Or is it somebody else we are not really discussing? Patty, we'll start with you.
I still think Sofa is the best chance at getting to the finals. I mean, it's an easy answer to give, but I mean, of the teams that we've been talking about, Sofa has had the most consistent success on tournaments, whether it's WAKA tournaments or circuit tournaments. Of that list, I say you flip a coin for the number 2 between Los Brew Crew and Menace. And I think Kicktators is probably 3rd on that list for making it to the Final 4 or to the finals. I mean, oh God, let's be honest. I don't see Los Brew Crew, Kicktators, or Menace making it to the finals. I think all 3 of them have a chance to do a lot of damage, possibly get to the Final 4, but. And again, I need to look at the brackets, but for any of those 3 teams to make it to the finals, they would run into somebody that they wouldn't want to run into.
Ad-Rock, got anything to add on that?
I do, because I think everyone's forgetting about Relax, who I think should be considered anything west of the Mississippi as being.
Oh my God! Take a penis and put it in your mouth. What the hell is? I don't care if it's west of the Mississippi. You are not a West Coast team. Oh my God! Shut up, Matt. Seriously, cut him out of the podcast right now. The kid doesn't even know geography.
Let me ask you this. That actually brings up an interesting point I was thinking about earlier. WAKA was very transparent and very strict about rosters this year. You mentioned Ad-Rock the Brick Clause as far as Flying Meatball Attack winning Founders Cup last year. You live in New York. yet you're on the Relax and Let It Happen Texas Live team. How does that work?
A lot of dedication, my friend.
Do you travel down? Like, how are you eligible to play? Yet earlier in the show, you were talking about some people weren't allowed to play on your team, so they had to resort to their old local team.
Well, coming into the year, I knew WAKA was going to tighten up due to various insides that we have. So I went out of my way to make sure I made a couple league games. I actually flew to Austin, Texas.
Wow.
And played in several league games that we won by an average score of about 12-0, and cemented my, I'd say my teammate to be a teammate on that team.
Your position on the roster.
Yeah, my position.
All right, I'm just curious. A lot of folks on our message boards and just on Twitter and Facebook were questioning, not you, but some of the other teams as far as players that were local but not local, players that might have been on these teams but then have since moved and play on other teams. I thought it was great. My point is just simply that WAKA posted the rosters publicly. You can see who first and last name, what team they're on. No more conspiracy theories of who's on the team going into the event. The circuit's done this. For the beginning, we use our third-party services, League Apps. You can go to the site, you can see every player listed. We still do the roster audit and everything else. But props to WAKA. I thought it was great that they made everything transparent this year. It was great.
Yeah, roster transparency was a big bump forward for WAKA, particularly with Founders Cup, because as we all know, over the years there have been a lot of questions and a lot of concern about some teams getting considerations in regards to their roster and other teams not. So the rules have been a bit stricter, but they've been much more open as to exactly what the rules are, why the rules are what they are, and the fact that there are open rosters, allowing for something of a crowdsourcing kind of double check. Has been a very big step forward. Now, whether or not that is ideal for the tournament, that remains to be seen. I mean, certainly Relax has suffered a little bit, not being able to have Smoke and Jackie on the squad, and I don't doubt there are other squads that have fallen into similar difficulties. And I mean, let's be honest, the only reason that Smoke and Jackie weren't allowed on Relax isn't because there wasn't a demonstrable history with the team. It's because there was not a demonstrable history with the WAKA team. So yeah, I mean, the rules. Props to WAKA for opening the transparency and sticking with the rules that they've established a little bit. But I think that they're still in the process of dialing in what their rules are year to year for Founders Cup. Really no different than what 365, what the circuit has done. I mean, every year there are adjustments made for what has worked and what it hasn't worked. And if there's something that needs to be addressed and adjusted, you guys address and adjust it. And, then see how it goes the next year. And if it works, then great, keep going forward. If it doesn't work, then adjust it again. But, yeah, absolutely, Matt. The transparency is a notably big step for WAKA this year.
Very cool. All right, let me get to a couple more questions, and then we should wrap this puppy up. We talked about the group of death or the pool of death. The three pools that were highlighted in our discussion, and those are the three we'll focus on. C, F, and G. I'll remind you, C is Sofa King, Smooth Criminals, Howie's Heavers, and the Truffle Shuffle. Pool F is Kicktators, Darkside Colorado, Mount Up, and Big Blue. And Pool G is Relax, Legit, Kickball Union, Local, and Steel Reserve. Of those three, do we have a group of death, a pool of death?
I'm going to go ahead and say Pool F. I'm going to actually trust and believe with AdRock's assessment of both Mount Up and Big Blue and call Pool F the pool of death. Justin for Colorado runs a tight ship, and he's got some strong players on the squad. Kicktators under Steven and Cora, always a tough squad. I mean, hell, they made Final Four. Well, I guess for last year I can say we made Final Four with the Kicktators last year. So if that's the case, yeah, I think you've got four teams that are extraordinarily strong. Pool C and Pool G, yeah, there's some good teams in there, but I don't think there are many surprises. Pool C, SOFA's got it. Pool G, Relaxa's got it. It's just a fight for who's number 2 in those two. Whereas Pool F, there could be a genuine fight as to who is number 1 coming out of that pool.
Yeah, I think the fight is more in the back end. I think the Kicktators are solid, but I think Dark Side, Mount Up, and Big Blue, someone's going to knock the Kicktators off, but I think they'll still win with a 3-1. But those other 3 teams are going to be a rough outing.
What's that, Patty?
I said 2-1. There's only 3 pool play games.
Oh, sorry, 2-1.
All right.
But
so
yeah, that's the hardest one.
All right, buy or sell. We have a West Coast champion this year.
I'm selling. Sell.
Oh, God.
Sell.
I sell.
Take a shot. I'm not asking you to name a team. Just buy or sell. Do we see our first West Coast?
Sell. God damn it. We're such a better coast, but sell.
It's not like you guys don't have talent or you don't go to tournaments all the time.
I'm just saying, as a whole, we're a better coast. We're the Pacific. We're the left coast. We're progressive. We're lovely. We have Pacific salmon, which is so much tastier than that farm-raised Atlantic salmon bullshit. We're a better coast, but we're not going to win Founders Cup this year.
All right. Buy or sell. This is the last year we see Founders Cup in Vegas.
Sell.
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 It'll always be in Vegas.
It'll always be in Vegas.
I agree.
Although there could be a trick to that. It might not be called Founders Cup anymore.
That would be funny. But that is something we haven't even talked about. You've got 40 competitive teams in the Founders Cup event, and you've got
quotes.
And you've got 34 in these social fun games. Is that what they still call it? The fun games, right?
Yeah.
So you've got 74 teams competing in Vegas. All parties are pretty much at the Flamingo, but you've got 74 teams competing in Vegas, having a blast. It should be a lot of fun. But, yeah, I don't see WAKA leaving Vegas anytime soon.
Not a bit. Not a bit. They will not.
Buy or sell. Someone from the top 10 will not, or excuse me, someone from the top 10 will not advance to the Sweet 16. I hope to God everybody advances to the round of 32.
Yeah, no kidding. Go ahead and talk about that for a second, Adam. I will be right back. Excuse me for a moment.
Adrock, of the top 10 teams, Stitch, Sofa, Shockwave, OSC, Brew Crew, Kicktators, Relax, #Menace, Danny Balls, and Dry Heat. Do you see any of those teams tripping up and not advancing to the Sweet 16?
Give me a sec here. Let me just look at where a couple of them are playing in that first round.
Everyone, plays their way, and I can pull up the bracket for you if you're interested as well.
I do not think that. Oh, you know what? I think if Patty's predictions are correct, the Howie Heavers might be playing Dry Heat, the Pool J supposed winner, and that could be something. That might be the only upset possibility that I see.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm looking at the bracket now, yeah. That would be interesting. I don't know much about Dry Heat other than what we've looked on the rosters with British's team. I don't see they would be. I don't think that's the team that would lose. I don't know the full O'Danny Balls roster. It's not in front of me. I had heard rumors, didn't track it down as far as some players not being allowed to play. That could be complete rumor mill. Let's take it with a grain of salt. But I would hope all of these teams will advance to the Sweet 16. Patty's not here. I'll move on to the next one.
I am back. I just arrived.
There he is.
Yes, if this podcast had been a pub crawl, I would have lost because I did just break the seal. So I apologize for that. In regards to the top 10, you know what? I'm going to buy that one. Just because there's enough possibilities for some weird upsets in pool play that could lead to interesting round of 32 matches, I'm going to buy that not all of the top 10 make it to the round of 16.
Yeah, I'm buying.
Really? Both of you? All right, I'm going to write this down, and when we never do a follow-up show, I will let you know how you did.
Copy that.
All right, guys, I think we've run this to the ground. I thought this was phenomenal. We went through all the pools. If you're just now tuning in, we appreciate you watching. Anybody who's going to Founders Cup, be sure to use the WAKA hashtag. Be sure to follow at Founders Cup on Twitter. They have 570 followers. They're going to be posting scores. They'll be posting tweets of pictures from the events and everything else. It's a great resource for this weekend if you want to track the event. Some folks will be live streaming. If coverage and everyone's phones are good and the weather's fine, then we should have some stuff up on Watch Kickball. Again, check out WAKA's Founders Cup. It's a great event. Been there. We've won it a couple of times.
You've won it a couple of times? Yeah, good that you had to drop that little piece of info in there. Thanks for reminding us, Matt.
We had 72. We had 72 when OSC won it, or the others won it, which was a massive event, and you got a trophy that was this big.
Can we discuss something real quick?
Yeah, what you got, Adam?
We didn't do Final Four predictions, finals, or champion.
Do you want to go down that path?
No, we didn't do pool draws. It's not a circuit event. We don't have to do that. Please don't make us do that.
All right, fine. I predict relax wins.
We walked through the Elite Eight, assuming everyone wins out. And I think right there we kind of all agreed, correct me if I'm wrong, that if it's Sitch, Menace/ODB, Los Brew Crew, Shockwave on one half of the bracket, and on the top right you have OSC and Relax, Kicktators and Sofa. You can do a Final Four based on those teams. But I think right there, just leave it right there. If we see that Elite Eight and everybody wins out, that's going to be a hell of a tournament to watch and to track.
Yep. I will leave it at that.
Adam, Relax is going to get knocked out before the Final Four. But you're not going to be upset about that because after you guys get knocked out, 10 minutes later, you and I are going to be making out next to the slip and slide on the hill.
I'd rather win.
Oh, you break my heart. There is no romance between us. What has happened to us? Oh, you never close your eyes anymore when we kiss, Adrock. Why? Why do you not love me?
We should have ended the show. I'm sorry, bro.
That's what I'm saying, dude. That's why we don't want to bother with these bullshit Final Four, finalist predictions. Because I get weird and start flirting with you in very awkward ways.
Well, guys, it is 11:45 on the Best Coast.
You suck it.
I don't know why I said that. I'm tired. On the East Coast, Adrock, thank you for joining us from New York. Patty, thank you so much for joining us from your house in California. I'm sure the weather is wonderful and not raining like it is here in D.C. today. Adrock, thank you for taping your iPad to your wall. We appreciate the duct tape.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. Good luck for those teams attending Founders Cup. We hope you enjoyed the show. Talk to you later.
Young runner.